All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to leave up holiday decorations year-round. Others have the need to use their garage as practice space for their new metal band. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, NmW&x, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Naomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, hey, my beautiful people. Well, welcome back to this Season of Self-Love podcast, where we celebrate transformation, growth, and radical self-acceptance. I'm your host, NmW&x, and today is Mindset Monday. It is Mindset Monday. This year, we are embracing the year of rebirth. This month's series was all about letting go of fear, or old habits, of self-doubt. And today's topic is about letting go of a comparison culture. Yes. Now, I know firsthand on how easy it is to scroll through your social media and start questioning. Am I doing enough? Am I behind? Why does it seem like everyone else has it all figured out? And if you ever felt that way, trust me, you are not alone. And to help us to break free from this toxic cycle, you know who we got. We got Dr. Will with us today. But before I bring Dr. Will to the stage, we're going to take a quick break, all right? It's your girl, Goddess NmW&x, here on this Season of Self-Love podcast. And we'll be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Hey, it's your girl, Goddess NmW&x, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. We're bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by. Me and Dr. Mike, as well as the BTG group. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to xnaomi.com and tell them Naomi sent you. All right, well, welcome. Hey, Dr. Will.
It's good to be here. I feel really good today.
I do too. I'm excited about this conversation, but I got a favor to ask.
Okay. Oh, wait, favor. Okay. When you ask favor, that means I'm going to do something for real. Okay. All right. What's up?
Yeah, you can ready to do something for real, because we haven't heard your voice and you guiding us through, a nice guided meditation, and see that this is our last Monday, the last day of March. Could you please guide us today?
Yeah, I got you. Let's do it. Okay, yep, I got you. Let's center ourselves. Let's sit. Allow our bodies to relax, our shoulders to go back,
our stomachs to relax. Allow our feet to be planted, or if they're crossed, that's fine. And allow our breath to be the direction we need today. Your breathing is the direction that you need today. So today we're going in. And we're going out. We're breathing in the possibilities. We're breathing out the shame, the worry, the anxiety. We're breathing in the possibilities, growth, opportunity, awareness. We're breathing out the performance, the chase, the reaction. We're breathing in the response, the stillness, the peace. And we're breathing out the chaos, the uncertainty, the fear. Our breath is the channel and the force of life for us. Allow yourself to remember how powerful your breath is. You breathe only for you. You breathe only for you. You breathe only for you. Learn the power of your breath and know why you stand so strong just as you are. Slowly come back, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out.
Oh, thank you. That was much needed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, my beautiful people, if you are new here to the Season of Self-Love and you felt that, it's something we do every day, Monday through Friday. We were just blessed to have this one with Dr. Will with us here on Monday. Right now, I'm excited for this conversation. I think this is a very important conversation to have. You know, back in my day, I'm a little bit older than you. There was no social media. There was no comparison.
We had Instant Messenger. We had Instant Messenger. That was it. In MySpace.
Right, but still, no. Listen, let me tell you something, baby. I'm a little up there. When I say vintage beauty, baby, I mean vintage beauty. We talking about pen pals. I'm talking about what we wrote on a piece of paper and we had to mail it.
Ooh, I remember being in class learning how to mail something. Like, this is how we mail things. I was like, wow.
Yes.
The communication.
Yes, that's how, you know.
The first text message.
Yeah. Oh, it was a two-way. It's called like a two-way, or better yet, pager. Because on a pager, you.
My dad used to have it. He had beepers. He used to be information systems technology.
Exactly. And what you can, with, I think it was 43770, and you turn it upside down, and it used to say hello.
Oh, yeah, that was look. I used to watch grown-ups do that.
And it say hello. So you know when people say 304, you flip it upside down and it say home.
Oh my God. That's what that meme meant. They're like, where the 304s at? I was like, what area code is that?
Where the home said. Yeah, you flip it, you turn it upside down.
Yep,
yeah.
I'm slow. Well, that's the end of this podcast. All right. I remove myself.
But you know, on a serious thing, you know, when I think about this, and especially, you know, I have 3 beautiful daughters. They're 10 years apart, but they all came in different, I guess, in different seasons of society, meaning that
it's like generations, like
in generations. Like my oldest one, she's with you, you know, so she, you know, had that, and you know, the MySpace, and you know that.
Yeah.
Yes, and
we believe in the educational system that would provide for us.
Yes. Now my middle baby, she right there in the midst of anything. She's 22. And so, you know, she was right there when everything was popping, everything. And then my little one right now, she's 12. I mean, everything is at her hand. It's so accessible to where it wasn't for us. Like we literally had to go to the library. You know, even with you all, y'all had to go to the library.
Yeah.
You know, and then the computers started really coming out, you know, like
I was on a typewriter applying for colleges still. I was still using my typewriter to get into college.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about social media. There was no social media, so there was no one to compare ourselves to. If we did sports, it was the local districts, who were
Hmm.
the teams that we played against or ran against and stuff like that. That was only in that area. And if you
Right.
was gifted enough to make it to state, then this is just the state of Illinois or the state of Ohio.
Right.
We wasn't competing with around the world. So we didn't have those people to compare with. And let's
Right.
talk about TV.
Mm.
TV, especially back then, that was limited of people of our color that was on there. So
Right.
there wasn't no comparison. So when we did see someone that looked like us, that was a praise moment. That was a person that influenced us. They were like, oh my God, I
Hmm.
can be like that. And it wasn't looked at as comparison. That was a sense of hope or that it can be done.
Mm.
But now we live in a world to where everything is a comparison
Mm.
of someone, because everyone, whether their life is true or not, that they show on social media, we tend to compare. Remember that saying, you want to be like the Joneses? You haven't heard that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so now this is how that goes. So it's like, how can we let that go? How can we start with that?
Mm.
So let me ask you this, Dr. Will. Why do we compare ourselves so much? What is it about? Human nature, I understand, that makes us constantly measure our lives against others, because as I spoke, that wasn't what it was for us in the beginning. But now it's like invested. It's like infested, not invested, infested in us.
Yeah. We have to first acknowledge that it's instinctual, right?
All you homeowners have unique needs. Some feel the need to paint their door a vibrant shade of blue. Others have the need to decorate their bathroom with fish, anchors, and other nautical items. And because each homeowner has unique needs, Geico helps you get the right coverage for your home and what's in it. That way, you get exactly what's right for you, even if your needs are unique. Get more with Geico.
Us understanding what is happening, what isn't happening, what I'm doing, what you're not doing, what we're doing, what they're not doing, that is life and death back in the day, right? If the tribe had to survive based upon what we all did as a collective, right? And with technology, what it did was allowed us to access individuality on a higher level and a higher level of exposure, right? The TV was an amazing moment because now I realized that what people were doing in Chicago and what people were doing in Cleveland, what people were doing in Montana, I was like, oh, that's what they're doing. Oh, that's what. Oh, we're all doing the same. How do we all have the same language? How do we all have the same? How do we all know it be like that means the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
How do we all know you good means 7 different things,
Mm-hmm.
right? That exposure made us realize how collective we are,
Yeah.
but instinctually, that also made us understand who's doing what and who's not doing what.
Mm-hmm.
And so that at first it was instinctual. Then it was conditioned, like you said, that nature, right? The nature of seeing competition, right? Like back in the day, like even just like the Olympics, right? That was entertainment. It wasn't just because we wanted to win or lose. This was a matter of pride in showing who I am,
Yeah.
right? So competition was a moment for individuality to rise to the occasion for the representation of our tribes and cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a natural state. But this generation, the one that we're in, it's not the same type of pride. It's not the same type of representation. It's not the same type of life or death. It's not the same. What's the direction? And right now, we don't know what to compete with other than ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's changed. It's internalized and manifested in a really emotionally ambiguous way.
Yeah. I want to share this with you. I interviewed a young lady, I think it was last month. She was a part of the industry for a little bit. But I remember her saying to me, she had said, I'm so glad that you're showing the real you.
Hmm.
So I could have took that in a really bad way, in a negative way. Like, what the heck? Like, I've always showed my stuff. I don't understand that. But then I have to remember that she wasn't privy to me personally. She was only privy to watching me at a convention. She was only privy of watching me on film in that element. So she wasn't privy
Yeah.
to see me, even with makeup on. That's still me.
Right.
But she wasn't privy to have that. But when I remember showing my first self with no makeup on, and I don't wear makeup every day, but just being, who I am. And I remember hearing a bunch of people say, "Oh, you don't need any makeup. You don't need, why you put on makeup? Because you're trying to be something that you're not." For me, it wasn't that. I just like to wear makeup when I just like to look different. I'm a canvas. I want to, dress up, and then
Right.
when I don't, I want to dress down.
You are the art you seek.
Yeah. And so when I remember having this conversation with her, and she was like, "You sharing your most intimate and most vulnerable things is what I love the most about you." She said, "Because you're not like everyone else. And I see that now." And I told her, "I've never seen myself like anyone else. Never." I said, "I've always been my biggest competition. Never." I said, "But I'm going to tell you what I was looking at. I was looking at these skinny women with these perfect bodies. And I'm trying to figure out, how the hell did I can't get that perfect. What? And I remember in that moment that I started to compare myself to unrealistic goals because
Yeah.
they had help of enhancing themselves, which is nothing wrong with that. But it does a mental trip on you because you're looking at all of this. And I remember Photoshop.
Yeah.
I use Photoshop as well, but it gives you a false sense of goals or admiration, because you can't get that unless you go spend that $10,000-$20,000 for that body. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I had to check myself and own every one of these curves of my body. And I remember I was 48 years old, Dr. Will, when I came to realize, like, baby, you have to be comfortable of who you are at this moment right now. Because when you were skinny, you wanted to gain some weight. Then now that you're thick, now you want to lose weight. You got to make up your mind what you want for your body. And why do you want it that way?
Why do you want it that way?
Why do you
That's
want
the
it that
focus.
way? Yeah.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
when I started to focus on the why, and the why, they had nothing to do with me, really, and it's just for the satisfaction of somebody else. No,
Mm.
we're not going to keep doing that.
Mm. I the process to get to that, right? Like when you look at pictures back in the day, you think you were fat, and then you go back and you're like, look like, oh my God, look how skinny I was. What's going on? It's like, so think about the next 10 years of your life. What are you going to say in another 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So why aren't you appreciating yourself right now? What does
Exactly.
that lifestyle look like?
Yeah.
You appreciating yourself right now. What's that
Yeah.
going to do to you? And I think that's kind of what, for me, looking back the past 9 years, seeing my hair colored, my hair was in whole different stages. And I think this is like my favorite stage right now. But 4 years ago, that was my favorite stage. So, I realized that all this is momentary,
Yes.
right? And that comparison mindset, it's really learning, it's actually it's dissociating you from what's actually really occurring, right? Because you're actually minimizing your existence to fit into their perception.
Mm.
Right. You're minimizing your existence to fit in their perception of you. And that is more harming than anything.
Yes, it is. As you speak of that, and when people are sitting at comparison themselves, or better yet, watching things on social media, because we're talking about community right now, or even somebody at church or at your job or whatever. And we usually see people at their best moments, right? At their best moments. They got the new house. the engagement, a big career move, just open a new business, a
Mm.
podcast popping, but we don't see the struggles behind the scenes. You don't see that.
Mm. Well, the moment if people could see the videos of us before we press record, oh my God. Oh my God. You put this beautiful post out and they see you sweating. They don't see you sweating, working, having that big glass of water with all the ice in it, and they don't see you working. The ice, I'm like, wow, you really do. You a one-woman show.
I am.
I was like, and you still made it home by 7. It's amazing. It's amazing what you do and don't even know. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. And I think we talked about this last week about people perception of you. And remember, we talked about the narrative. And I guess this kind of could go into this week's too, is the narrative that we tell ourselves. And comes deep when we comes to comparison with one another, is what we feel about ourselves. We should never look at another individual and compare ourselves to where we're putting ourselves down. That's something that I talk to my girls about all the time. I got 3 beautiful chocolate babies. And what I did learn, my oldest one, I talked to her, she loves her chocolate skin. My middle baby, and this one I had to realize that they're not the same. Even though they came from me, they are not the same. So
Yeah.
my language with her is a different language with the middle one, and a different language with the last one. So even though I speak a positive of our skin tone, of our dark chocolate, beautiful melanin skin, with the middle baby, it's going to be different. First of all, her community is different. And just what she sees on social media is different. So how you can be so powerful in your chocolate skin is because you were around a whole bunch of chocolate women.
Exactly.
For her, no, she just see mommy, who is this big ass name right here, and her
Exactly.
sister, and we're living in a nice, rich neighborhood, and there's only 2 Black people there.
It's a whole nother culture. It's a culture shock.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though she was raised there. She's been there since we were 3 years old. She don't know any different, but society will make her feel like, well, I'm not pretty because my hair is not straight, or
Right.
my tone is different, my skin tone is different. And I worked hard to know, you got to look at you, what you look like, baby. That everything else on the outside, that's just them on the outside, but about you. What
Yeah.
is you? What makes you? Very gifted, beautiful, so talented. When I say she talented, like she taught herself how to play the guitar and the piano.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like you don't want to say you're worried about the wrong things, but most of the time we worried about the wrong things.
We always worried about the wrong thing. That's the problem though, because that comparison culture is literally you externalizing everything other than yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why doing things like learning an instrument or creating things or truly like investing in things that you like. I always say, love what you like and you'll learn to be passionate forever.
Yeah.
Right? Learn to love what you like and like what you love. Because the truth is that when you compare yourself, you actually will embrace and honor the right people, right? Like for me, when I was trying to learn trombone, I was listening to Louis Armstrong. I wasn't thinking, oh my gosh, he sounds so much better than me. I was like, I want to sound like that. So I kept trying to sound like that, right? And eventually I actually found my own voice. Now I love the way that I sound. And now people love the way that I sound because I'm able to be who I am.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you can truly allow the comparison to be helpful rather than harmful,
A tool.
right? Making it really true to yourself, it changes the understanding. Because that's why I feel so sorry for celebrities when I do therapy for them, because people, when they're in that comparison culture, is more willing to ridicule and attack them than to see them for the human that they've been trying to be their entire lives, right? And so it paints a picture that they're invulnerable or like they're invincible and it's okay to just treat them anyway. And like, they just want a sandwich, and you just think like invading them about an episode from 6 years ago is going to be where they're at.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
And so it's just one of those things where how can we really get rid of that mindset,
Ah, oh my goodness, yes. Look, I'm not going down that hole, but I
I
just
believe in you.
just as you said that, I'm like, yes. It's a very powerful saying that is said is that you meet people where they're at. You meet
Mm,
people where they are at. And especially when let's go back to social media, let's go back to the community, let's go back to
mhm,
comparison, let's go back to all of that. There was a video that I saw of T-Pain, a
mm.
T-Pain.
One of my favorite artists.
Yeah, of
Mm.
T-Pain. I love him too.
Ah,
And he was on a commercial flight um in regular coach. And
mm.
somebody snapped a picture and was like, "Are you supposed to be such and such and such? Why you ain't, buying, why you ain't on no private plane, or why you not in first class?" I think it's, why is you in this man's pocket? Why is you spending his money? Why?
Right.
Can you afford that? Do you know how much it really costs to get a private flight? A private plane? Not a flight, a plane?
Plain. And most rich people don't own private jets.
No.
They're part of a club or a community that rents their flights out. They're not even owning those flights.
Right.
But you
So
wouldn't
he
even know that at that level.
right. So he did a video and showed, like, I think it was like $20,000 or something like that. Something like that. Outrageous. He was like, and to go to Vegas to make, no, I'm not getting ready to do that to make some, no.
Right.
But that's what we're talking about when we're talking about comparison.
Mm-hmm.
About allowing, and this thing is, let other people's comparison of you go. Does that make sense?
Mm. Oh, wait a second. So, okay, real quick. So this literally happened a while back because someone saw me performing, and and they knew, and they saw me performing on stage. It was thousands of people, right? So I'm getting off stage. I'm just kind of like wiping down and just making sure and then I sit down and I bring my book out and I just start reading. And they come in, they're all hyped up and they're like, yeah, come on. It's just a lot. It's a lot of energy. And I'm just like, I was out there for 90 minutes straight. They're like, oh, why don't you want to do this? Like, I thought you were the person that was, out there doing. I'm like, hey. I love what I do. That's what you saw. You saw me loving what I do. Right now, I love reading this book. I had to shift the perception, right? They thought that moment was how I'm going to be forever.
Yeah.
This is a moment. But it came from a lifestyle of me being in a basement studying music for 6 to 8 hours a day, and those naps and getting paid $20 to play for 4 hours. And now I can say I can live like this.
Yeah.
But I don't forget. And a lot of people, they just see you at the end. They never see you during the process, right?
Oh.
And so sometimes you have to just be frank with people when they're comparing you and they're trying to judge you or ridicule you for the lifestyle. It's like, I need you to understand that was this moment.
Yeah.
And now this is my moment. And they're stuck in the past. And you're just trying to move on.
Yeah, that's it. That is so it. Last week I posted I think it was a video. It was a video of me talking about my vertigo and how I was going to do the wellness thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a few comments that was on there. I said, when are you gonna come back to the porn industry? When you gonna come back? Oh my God, Naomi, we love you. When you gonna come back? And I love that it was a few of the comments was under there was like, nah, we good. We like what she doing right now. Like,
Right, bro, like, chill
like
out.
what is like, and this is the thing. I haven't
Oh my
performed
God.
in front of in 13 years.
They look, I'm like, where did you leave off at? Like where have you been? Right? Not where has Naomi been? Where have you been? It's been 13 years. What are you doing?
Like, and it was like, and I had to take the one comment off because one guy was going off on him, like you said, what you been? He was like, dude, she ain't said nothing about no porn in almost 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was going off, and then I had to like take it off, and I had to
Yeah.
let him know. I said, because I don't thank you for taking up for me, but let's not meet negative with negative. And actually, the guy wasn't negative. The guy was asking.
He was just checking them though.
He was just, yeah. And sometimes it do get tiresome, but then that is where you where you have to be like, okay, that ain't even me no more like that. Yes, I am fully
Yeah.
in my sexuality, but
Mm.
I'm not in that space anymore.
Yeah. But also think about this, the growth that you just had, the
Yeah.
amount of growth that you did, the amount of growth that you created. You created an environment that understood the movement and the culture of what you're producing in your life. And the fact that you did so well that you didn't have to even speak up for yourself, that your community spoke up for you.
Yeah.
That's a powerful thing.
Yeah.
When your community can speak up for you because they see where you're going in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing.
It is. Thank you. So let me say this because one of our and she's become a dear friend of mine, and she listens all the time, and she'd be ready to go into the comments too. And I remember going into the DMs. I said, I said, I said, we're not gonna do it. So I know she listening, and I know, look, baby, the only reason why I said no to you is because you will go in and you would say some things, and it would take away from the progress that we have done thus far. So we allow others to do what they do, and we gonna focus on what we doing. Because I know she be like, yes, yes, I'm
I
talking
never
about
focused on what other people were doing. People understand, how'd you get this? How'd you get this? How'd you go to Australia? How you doing therapy and all? Because I'm just doing what I know. I'm not worried about what other people are doing. If I start streaming right now, if I go back to streaming video games and mental health, yeah, there's other content creators that are making millions of followers, and I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm doing because I like to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I'm just doing what I know, and that's what makes it so beautiful. So like you have created a community that understands that healing is a lifestyle,
Yeah.
and they're coming to you for that beacon.
Yeah.
That's a conduit.
Yeah.
That's
And
beautiful.
I do. I love to see some of the comments when it said, keep bringing them thought provoking, moving, motivating, because I'm showing me going through this transformation. I'm
Mhm.
truly showing up authentically me in every bit of it, and even sharing
Mhm.
some of the not so happy moments of my life when my struggles that I would never thought that I would have,
Yeah.
period. And like, we gonna get through it, but these are not failures. And that's what that's what I'm trying to get people to understand, is that through our trials, even though some of them could be so heinous, that we still came out on the other side. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? It's like, and from that,
Mhm.
who can we help? Who can we encourage? Who can we, speak to allow them to choose to live another day?
Yes.
You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? And I think that's it. That's what a part with self-love is, that core, that foundation, that grounding for us, so we can be able to allow our light to shine in whatever trauma or situations or stories that we have, that we can share it with someone else, and they can see it. They can truly see it. That's why I'm so happy that we did take that pause last year, and I was able to
Yeah.
really sit and really listen to what God is saying. It was like, no, it's time for you to bring guests on, because people need to hear
Mhm.
more stories. They need to hear more language. They can't just hear your language. They can't just hear Dr. Will language. We got to,
Right.
because it's more than just this. This
Right.
is bigger than you can ever imagine. So even when we talk about social media and we talk about the comparison, and I heard you when you say, well, sometimes comparison could be good, because that is where we look at something and we say, whoa, I want to do it like that. I want to do
Mhm.
it, and then you put your own twist on it, can be better. But this is where influence come in. This is where
Mhm.
admiring and admiration come in,
Yes.
And so when we talk about influencers, I guess this is where I get my qualms and my things from, is that, can we influence the real? and not
See,
influence the fake.
see, okay, so let's take this a little step even deeper than that, right? So you have this comparison, and then you have these influencers that navigate that, but then that's also a comparison to relevance, right?
Mm,
Influencers and people that and people that make things relevant, because a lot of times influencers are into the relevance of what's happening now,
mm-hmm,
right? Or you have influencers that are just on their own mark doing their own thing. And so I always think about the relevance of my comparisons. So if
mm,
I'm comparing myself to somebody or something, I have to ask, what's the relevance of this right now?
mm-hmm,
How relevant is this situation? How relevant is this moment? Because a lot of times it's usually not as relevant as what you're actually going through.
mm-hmm,
And usually that's just your insecurities that are being projected,
mm.
right? That's why influencers, I'm always watching influencers because I'm like, are you an influencer or are you a carbon copy of a trend,
Mm.
right? Trends are not relevant. We always think those things are the same thing. Someone trendy and someone relevant are two different types of people, and influencers have the choice to be one or the other.
Mm.
And this comparison culture has been taking the lifestyle of the trender rather than the person that's the relevant.
Mm.
And that's a big misconception that's happening right now. So like that's why like TikToks, I gotta be careful because it's like, do I need to see how a pizza should be eaten in 10 different ways from 10 different people? Right? What's the way that I eat it? Right? Like what's relevant? So it's like,
Right.
comparison culture can be very, very surface, but there's a deeper mindset of like, well, if you're watching it so much, are you wondering what way you do it? Why aren't you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And what stops you from making content? I have a client that's currently deciding whether or not they should make content for their community, and they're worried about how people may respond, what people may think, and I'm like, well,
What are you
it, what is it?
doing? Mm-hmm.
Right? Is it because of what the trend is, or is it, or do you not feel relevant? Well, I care about what I need because I'm okay. Well, if you care about it that much, you would do it.
Right.
The end. And like, well, that's the end of the session. I'm like, yeah, because you're too afraid to be yourself. So we can't have a session. I'm not gonna waste your money. Put your money towards your social media. Go market it. So it's like we gotta be careful that our comparisons, if it's insecure, we tend to chase the trends.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Mm.
yeah.
I love that you said that, especially when you talk about trendy, being the trend, the trendy, and being relevant. Because you see so many times, like, you're not relevant. You ain't relevant. You're not relevant
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you even say that about relevance to someone, they are relevant because you know them. You understand what I'm saying? Because they've done
Mm.
something great. And
Yeah.
with trendy, it's only around for a minute. I know I've done some of the trendy TikTok things, but that was just
Huh?
for me to be silly and enjoy or what it is that I'm doing.
Mm.
But in relevant and being of relevance, like somebody said, are you doing this, the season of self-love, as a gimmick? Oh no, baby, this is not a gimmick.
I'm going through it.
I'm going through it because if it was a gimmick, know and believe that it will be much bigger than what it is.
Exactly.
We're talking about quality here. And as I continue to grow, as this platform continue to grow, I'm living it every day.
Mm-hmm.
I live it every day and I share as much as I can of my comfortability right now. Period. So yes, it's real. No, no. Do I have crystals? Yeah, I still got crystals, but it's more than a crystal. Do you even know what you're doing with your crystal?
Mm-hmm.
With your meditation, it's more than just do you even know what you're doing with the meditation?
Do you even know what you're doing?
Do you even know what you're in? Was that the last episode when I talked about understanding your power of leadership, being responsible So when I talk about influence, about being healthy in it, being healthy in influence, and I love that you said you can either be trendy in influence or you can be relevant in influence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's truly up to you on how you want to be seen. You know, I remember talking to someone about their purpose. And for some reason, the world believes that everybody doesn't have a purpose. And everyone does have a purpose. They do. I can't tell you what your purpose is. Like Dr. Will can't tell you what your purpose is. This
Mm-mm.
is where you have to do that self-discovery yourself
Yes.
and find out what that purpose is. Everything that you have been through in life, both good and bad, your purpose was shown to you several different times.
Mm-hmm. Your
Even
purpose is
showed up
showing
for
so
you.
many lessons.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know, it showed up for you when you probably was in your most rawest and negative and just shit show way, was right there. But we tend to miss it. You know why we tend to miss it? Because we steady stand comparing our lives to others.
Yes.
Yeah. Whether it's in our community, whether it's a husband, a wife, a sister, a brother, aunt, or uncle, a friend, a
I
coworker.
can't. I
Yeah.
can't. I can't even think about the last time I actually compared myself to somebody. I really can't think of the last time because for me, I turn my comparisons into my fantasies. And so like as you see, like I have like superheroes and like comic book characters that I've compared my life to
Hmm.
as a way to have a more healthier perception of comparison in my life. And because I found out every time I compare myself to a person, I learned more than I should have learned. And then it didn't even feel right
Right.
because I didn't want that life. I didn't want to actually be them. I just loved what they've created. I love the product, but I didn't love their creation of it.
Yeah.
Right? I needed my own creation. So I had to remove myself and go into more fantasy character and more creativeness about what I actually want to be like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you said that too. And so I want to take a step back. I want to take a step back because this word comparison, I don't want to demonize excuse me,
Yeah,
to
demonize. Yeah.
demonize it. I
Yeah.
don't want to do that at all. And you had spoken said about using it as a tool. How can we, our listeners, how can we use comparison as a tool? Once again, before we leave here today, how can we use comparison as a tool?
Yeah. So we'll do a 4-step process. It'll give you the beginning journey of it. So get your purpose pen, purpose paper. And the first thing is acknowledging what you're comparing yourself to. So the sentence I would use is, right now I'm comparing my playing skill in music to trombone shorty. Number 2, what's the problem of that? I don't feel like I play as good as him, which means I'll never be as successful. And I have to really practice better because of that. 3, what am I learning through trying to practice? What steps am I doing to sound more like him? Well, I'm listening to more of his music. I bought a couple books. I record myself more. And then 4, what's your time frame of completion? When you don't give yourself a time frame, you're going to be cycling. At some point, if you work truly hard enough on it, you'll actually find a rhythm that makes you feel comfortable to be who you are.
Yeah.
The goal of that process is to learn to be comfortable with who you are and to honor the fact that the work that you did to end up being comfortable with yourself is actually you honoring the fact that someone like him exists. I'm honoring the fact like he exists, so I am inspired. So let's transition comparison
Mhm.
into inspiration, right? Going from comparison to inspiration is the key to letting go of that type of negative culture and bring a healthier perspective. So let's stop comparing and let's get inspired.
Beautiful. I love that. I just like how you just came back around right there with it.
Yeah.
Right, that circle, that curve right there.
had to get it right back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And even though you didn't say the word, it's just being gratitude, just gracious for that, having that opportunity to be able to hear, see, and witness something that's great that can influence and inspire you to be your best self. So it's like an example of where you want to be. So if we can just take all of that and put that into that comparison. I love how it was like a transition that you created from comparison to inspire.
Mm-hmm.
Inspire to be, but also to empower others.
Mm-hmm. And people are going to watch you, right? As you aspire to be the inspiration, right? As you aspire to be inspiration, you actually end up being a light for other people, because your whole energy is going to shift. Your spaces are going to shift. Your environment's going to shift. Your lifestyle is going to shift. The way you treat yourself is going to shift. And people are going to notice that. And they're going to reward you for being yourself. And what you really wanted was just the connection.
Yeah.
Right? We wanted to be connected.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Well, this has been good. This has been good. This one, yeah. This one been good. You have any last words for our listeners?
Yeah. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
I know that's right. All right, my beautiful people. Well, thank you for tuning in today. And family, if this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it. And until next time, keep loving yourself and keep celebrating your trueness, all right? Have an amazing day. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovering and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.